Well, holy shit. I actually managed to do it. After procrastinating for ages, I finally managed to produce an audiobook version of the Lunatic Fringe book. It's currently available on all Amazon sites, audible.com, and shortly on iTunes. And if you're the page-turning type, it's also, of course, still available in Kindle form, paperback, and hardback on Amazon. 10 hours and 10 years worth of Blue Skies Magazine's articles, all available to you right fucking now, including a few author's notes and even an apology or two. Enjoy.
Blue skies call. They seduce us, pulling us irresistibly upwards, reminding us to fly our own line, on our wings, and in life. We are the seekers, adventurers, being one with the air, feeling everything and nothing at once. That's the magic we chase. Follow the call. Find your pure, wild flight with NZ Aerosports.
Of course, I absolutely love the NZ Aerosports business model. I mean, come on. One glance at an Icarus fuck yeah sticker and you know it lines up perfectly with the fucking pilot mentality. But outside their wonderful use of colorful language and a great company vibe, there's a long list of reasons to say NZ Aerosports fuck yeah. NZ Aerosports blows me away right out of the gate as a canopy manufacturer with a bold offer. They give you 10 jumps on your brand new nylon to decide if you want to keep it, swap it out, or even return it for a refund. I mean, seriously, how incredible is that? That's like getting halfway through a prom and deciding you prefer the slightly racier date that goes down faster. Seriously, they do that. If you're not madly in love with your new canopy after 10 jumps, they'll let you swap it out for another size or model, or even get your money back. And the range of canopies they've got? Man, they've got a style canopy to fit every jumper and every situation with models you know and trust. Like the Sapphire 3, the perfect choice for the beginner or intermediate canopy pilot. The Crossfire 3, when you're ready to kick it up that elliptical notch. The JFX 2, if you're looking to up your new swoop game. The Leia as the workhorse and dirtwater dirt beast. Or the Petra. The Petra cranks out crazy power and is nothing short of a record breaker. But hey, it's not always about speed either. Take the Kraken. Built as a low pack volume canopy specifically with wingsuiting in mind, she gives you all the performance you're looking for with the reliability you need that'll have you itching for that next formation, rodeo, or puffy cloud. So, the equipment is top-of-the-line kick-ass stuff as you already know, but how about the team? Well, the customer service gang is there to sort you out whenever you need them. Maddie and Beto are always there to help with Jen holding the reins. They're available for you at sales@nzaerosports.com, and they've got a kick-ass live chat tool on the website if you're wanting to hit someone up right away. These are the crew you're going to want to talk to get those custom orders in. With the stock nylon, once you know what you want, they'll have that shit on a FedEx truck as soon as the credit card machine says approved and get you in the air in no time. For your custom orders, you'll be able to get a time frame for building and shipping when you design it, so get to it. And demos. They've got demos in the US available from their partner Rock Sky Market. The whole US demo fleet is there with Sapphire 3, Crossfire 3, Kraken, JFX2, and Leia canopies in a range of sizes. They also offer student and tandem demos in the US. Bottom line, every step of the way, NZ Aerosports is there to get you what you need, and I personally couldn't be happier to be teamed up with them here on Lunatic Fringe. And now, time to get started with Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, brought to you proudly by NZ Aerosports. Fuck yeah.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go! Back in the can for another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void with a familiar face and a familiar voice, but we're just going to dive right into it. Who the fuck are you? What do you do?
I am Chris Stewart, and I'm a test jumper for NZ Aerosports. I used to be a competitive swooper, but I feel like it's been a few years since I've done that.
You're getting a little rusty, are you?
Oh man, I pulled out my petrol. I've got my wings all relined, ready for the Worlds. But I pulled out my Petra the other day, my 66, and I don't think I've jumped it for like almost a year.
Right.
But like I've been jumping with Aerosports. I jumped the prototype, so I'm sticking around that smaller size anyway, just not Petra. And I jumped it, and I was angry at myself, but I think just for letting myself get that on current. But at the same time, because we've got the pond at Skydive Auckland, and I went through it, and I was just like, that was terrible. I barely made it out the sand pit out the back, and I was like, there's no wind. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I've got to do some pretty intensive training, and just like, I'm probably pretty much just going to wing the shit out of it. We'll figure it out.
Were you nervous getting back on it? I mean, that wing's pretty fucking intimidating.
No, not really. I was more excited, but I had just jumped some pretty small prototypes that were about the same size, but they were 7 cells. So size-wise, I wasn't too worried. And I guess there was a little bit of, anticipation for like what was coming, because I you know what it's like. Yeah. It's like riding a bike, so they say, but it's like riding a really fucking fast bike that's just a ballistic missile in the sky. So
right.
Yeah, as soon as it opened, it was, I was like, oh yeah, this is me, this is it. But it was more just the things of, like, you will have talked to a lot of swoopers, just your turn dynamic and stuff like that. I was turning. I think as I was turning, I was like, that was terrible. That was shit. That was rubbish. Like just parts of the turn, and I was like, went through the course, and I was like, I was annoyed, and I was like, well, are you surprised? You're not just going to get back on it and smash out 150 meters. So.
Sure. My nerves always were the more than a few times that I've gone on current on a small canopy, I'd get saddled out under the canopy, and my worries weren't I'm flying a really high performance canopy that's going fast. My worries were I'm rusty enough that I just might think I'm not that rusty and do something fucking stupid.
Yeah. I think that comes with experience. So like maybe a younger me would have been like, right, I'm going for the biggest distance run I can.
Right.
Whereas this one, like, I stepped back. I gave myself heaps of time before the gates. I took it like, as far as flying a Petra goes, I took it pretty easy. So I think that's something you get as you get older. Like we were talking about before, you can do a lot of dumb shit in skydiving. And eventually, I don't know, I think we spoke about it on one of the other ones. Eventually you're kind of like, yeah, I still want to push the limits, but I want to push within my limits as well.
Sure. Well, like I said, just off the podcast, in regard to both jumping and flying, the only things that I haven't done are the things that I really fucking don't want to do.
Yeah. That's a good way to be, like we were saying, that's a good way to be sort of not signing off, but just like be at. Like, I've done a lot. I don't have to be in it all the time right now. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, and hats off to the guys that will go balls out, especially after they've had some nasty stuff. I mean, Nick is a prime example, and the old guard, Pablo Hernandez, he'll kill me for saying it, but he calls himself old too. For him getting back out and just ringing it out, but they come to it with a lot of experience, both positive and negative, which is great.
Yeah, for sure. And they're like, especially with the mutant harnesses now, that's the other thing I've got one of them, man. I'm ashamed to say I've had it for years, and I've jumped it only a handful of times, but I kind of never really was in a position to get current. And then I managed to convince work. I was like, hey, we should really be jumping some of our prototypes with the mutants the future, So I was like, I'm going to get paid here to get current on the mutant. It's going to be awesome.
Nice.
And you got to hustle sometimes.
Sure.
And I was like, cool. And they were really like, Julian, the designer, obviously he's aware that it's becoming more and more prominent. So we were like, yeah, awesome. Let's get to it. So I got the rig packed up, literally got it packed up, ready to go. COVID. And then I just had this mutant sitting there, like freshly packed, and then just not being jumped. And then when we came back, we were so far behind on R&D that, doing that sort of stuff and sort of trying the canopies out on a different harness was not priority, because we need to try them out on a regular harness because we haven't been able to jump them. So, so definitely, I mean, it's all just excuses as well. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we can always find time if we really, really want to. So I did start making an effort, like getting on it, and I'm going to do, I think before I go to the States, the plan is to take some time off Aerosports and just go out to Skydive Auckland where they've got the pond and just, be there for a solid few days in a row.
Nice.
And just really start hammering out jumps. And I think the reality is, though, that thing is the mutant. Like, you've seen it fly. It's a whole new beast. And pushing that through a course is like, again, a whole new level. So
Sure.
I want to be smart about it. Like, I don't want to take this harness and go balls to the wall through a course and just be like, oh, what happened to Chris? Well, he had 20 jumps on a mutant and he just hammered it through the course. And he was really quick, but, you know, he hit every bollard.
Right. Yeah, for sure. You know, it's kind of funny watching the mutant, because I never will fly one, but watching it fly and the position that it puts the jumpers in. When I started flying a higher performance canopy and swooping, whatever my version of swooping was, instead of allowing my legs to go back like you see the swoopers do nowadays, both my legs were forward. The risk, of course, being you're going to end up breaking what I ended up breaking, which was my fucking tailbone, because I sat on my ass hard. So when I saw the mutant position, the first thing I thought of is, oh shit, that's some broken tailbones in the making. But then it also dawns on me that the guys that are flying the mutants aren't going to be idiots like me and stall out their canopy when they're flying that thing.
Yeah, but that being said, oh, mate, there's some bangers on social media. So, like, man, this is why, like we're talking about the Nicks and the Kurtz and Cornelia and that stuff. That especially like Nick and Kurt, man, some of the footage they're putting up, those guys are they're hungry. And you know, they're so willing to push. And look, like, I am too, but like, I'm aware that I'm just not current, so I'm not in that position, you know. But they're just hammering it, and even they've got some stuff where like they hip check in the water and things like that, and it's like it's full committal, you know.
Yeah, man.
And it's oh man, it's so exciting. Like when you do get to jump one, like for anyone listening, it is, if you have the opportunity and you know you've got the right sort of skill level for it, it's awesome. Like I kind of liken it to the very first time I jumped Petra. Like you release the brakes on Petra and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Is insane. What is going on here? Which actually, I could digress there. Funny story about the first time I jumped Petra. Not sure if I said this. It was one of the prototypes, the final prototypes. I don't think it was pre-power band. And I opened it and I was like, oh, yeah, this is cool, not too bad. And then one of the leg straps completely slipped. So I was flying it with one completely loose leg strap and the other one, and I ended up coming in with my legs crossed over, and I did like a little 90 with a little bit of speed to keep it, and I could keep it straight, but it was the weirdest thing. And I was like, that was my very first jump on Petra. Like, this is awesome. Oh, what's going on? So, yeah.
Bit of a reality check right out the gate.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, going on the mutant, similar thing. It's just that it's new. You know, like when Petra was released, it was like nothing else was like it. So when you first jump a mutant, no one's jumped you've never jumped anything like it. So have you heard about the so you've got like the way the system works as you release it, and actually quick shout out to UPT, thanks guys, awesome sponsors, sending me one of those. But the way you do it, you can release those top rings, and then you've got this, it looks really weird, so people who don't know the system are like, why is there a seatbelt?
Right.
So you know the red button, Ian Bobo described it to me as like the fun button. So that's the button that like releases the lats and allows you to sit back. Man, when you because you're doing high hop and pops the first time you jump that system,
right?
And when you're at like doing a hop and pop, and you know there's something about doing a high hop and pop that you feel like, I don't know, just that height sometimes like plays on your mind, to a certain degree. Like when you're doing certain things, especially with like it's such a weird thing to say, but like prototypes, when like obviously if anything goes wrong, we want it to go wrong high. But when you're high, there's just like, man, it's a weird mind fuck. It's a weird thing. Anyway, so when you're on the mutant, you've got to push this button. And that's what releases everything. And it's like the trustful. You know those ones where like you're doing the team buildings and you're like, they're going to catch me. Yeah. Like, and it's completely, it makes no sense because you can't fall out of the harness.
Right.
Like you don't need to loosen the chest strap for it because the rings and the risers come from the hips. There's no need to open up anything from there.
Right.
So you push this button and you're just like, it's a very split second where you're like, oh my God, I'm falling. And then you realize, oh no, I'm not falling. I'm in a pretty secure harness. I'm fine. Right. But yeah, it's just the buzziest feeling the first time you do it. Really gets the heart going. And then it's just like, yeah. So
the only thing I could liken that to be would be pulling a tandem in the trapdoor you get between the drogue and the snatch of the canopy, that 2 or 1.5 seconds of, oh fuck, here we go.
Especially because sometimes they go super head low. Like, because I was actually talking to, compared to a lot of the guys around the world, nowhere near as many tandems, but I've actually done 3,500 tandems because a lot of people meet me now and they just they think I went from AFF to working for Aerosports,
right?
Which, like, when you really think about it, like, well, that makes no sense. But they forget, like, or they didn't even know, which I completely understand. But I was just traveling the world like everyone else, living the skydiving dream, pucking droves, filming. So I've done those tandems, and I just remember, you get some where you like you say, you release and you get a little one, and then some where you release and you're like, oh my god, what's going on here?
Oh yeah, man. I started out on the old Relative Workshop vectors, which were already sitting way head low because of the position of the drogue. And man, you'd get a delay on one of those and you'd almost be completely head down when that thing caught, and whoa, you just knew it was coming. Man, oh man. That was the only thing I liked about the Strong. The only thing I liked about the Strong was it sat you really head high, and it had no delay. You pull, it's coming.
Yeah, that was the. I was going to say, because I worked in drop zone in New Zealand, Rotorua, and we just had Strongs. I always used to joke that they built a reserve tray and they were like, oh shit, we forgot a main tray. We just let's just hack on some parts and we'll just get it going. Like,
yeah. Well, I used to love watching the videos of the Strongs in free fall, because there's enough of a gap between the rig and the back of the instructor that you could probably hula hoop somebody through that fucking thing.
Yeah, it falls up.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, so you could do. The trapdoor wasn't bad. That was the one pulled from the center, so it was more of like a natural position in free fall. And then the other one was, which I got caught out on, and as well working at that same drop zone, was you could pull the drogue release, and then effectively it was just like it was a regular, rig.
Sport rig.
You throw the drogue. Yeah, you throw the drogue. I did one, did all my handle checks, slid to the door, and skydive Rotorua when it was they're shut down now. But we used to, like, Rotorua Airport. You could just spend a bit of time in New Zealand. It wasn't an international airport. They had like 2 flights a week to Australia or something. And I slide into the door, check my handles, all good. Slipped off the bench or slipped to the door. And that bench was on. Anyway, went out and I was like, handy cam. I was like, woo, throw the drogue. You know what it's like. And then I'm like, mate, I'm at 12,000 feet. And there's some big, like, international flights, like, waiting to go. And I was like, and I'm pretty sure they were climbing to 16 grand. And I was like, hey, mate, we can't stick around here. So you're going to help me hold this toggle down. And if you feel like you're going to be sick, just let me know.
Yeah. Deal with it.
Yeah. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, it's puke or a jet. One of the two you pick.
Yeah. We've got 2 options.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that one though when the passenger, everyone said that, when the passenger's so oblivious. Like, we got about 3 seconds of free fall, 5 seconds of free fall, and then he was like, "That was amazing."
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, that was not quite the plan."
Yeah, wasn't exactly what we had in mind. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I've had those as well, and the tandem students very rarely have a clue.
Yeah.
So back to the mutant harness, I wanted to ask a question, and I can definitely get something from you in regard to the mutant harness and R&D. Have you guys taken into consideration completely different designs based on that harness, or would that even be necessary because of how it attaches? I don't know enough about the system to know if a redesign would be necessary.
Yeah, I think from what we've seen from a lot of them, because they tend to pop up a little bit through the course for competition. So it seems like the other manufacturers are just going really steep on a trim. So, but Julian, the designer, you know Julian, don't you?
Yeah. We've had him on a couple times.
Exactly. Yeah, I was on with him actually.
Yeah,
in a long few years.
Yeah, right.
But he's we have spoken about it, and there's like, I think when he, instead of modifying what we've got for the mutant, because he's all about R&D, he's keen to eventually design something for the mutant. So,
specific, yeah,
and it's like with kind of liken it to speed wings, how efficient they are. But we all know, like, you don't pull the front risers on speed wings, so because they're very, they're quite sensitive and they can collapse.
Sure.
On a lot of models. So, disclaimer: I'm not sure if you can't pull the front risers on all of them. Just a lot of them, I know you can't. But we've actually had prototypes that fly amazing, but when we do control checks to make sure that the parachute's safe before we commit to landing it. One of them is pulling front risers, because that's what everyone does. That's a really common input. One of the things, if we can do it, is to educate skydivers, like we don't want to necessarily pull the front risers anymore, because once we get past that and distorting the wing and just letting it fly as it should, we can actually sort of delve into new designs, or designs that are a little bit more, it's definitely the hyper performance market that this would be aimed at, but canopies that you don't touch the front risers. You leave them alone because they are scary. So
sure. So everything would be harness turns?
All harness turn, and then obviously like rear risers and toggles to plane out and flare. But yeah, the turn to build up speed, and it's going to be, I'm not sure when or where that project. Well, to be fair, from the Summer of Love back in 2007, some of those prototypes already exist. Like if anyone's ever watched any of those old videos where they pull the fronts and the whole canopy just I said to Attila, man, props to those guys. I'm glad I don't have to do that. Like I didn't really have to do that. Like I've had a couple of sketchy moments, but I have not had a parachute fly into my face yet that I was flying. So
that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Touch wood, for sure.
That's actually a good point to jump you back a bit for people that haven't seen the previous or heard the previous podcast that we've done. I got hooked up. God, it's almost a year ago now with a Facebook page called the Beginner Skydiving Forum. That's an epic page, man. It's got a fuckload of young, hungry jumpers. I think they've got over 40,000 people following the page now.
Oh, wow.
Asking questions all the time and really wanting good information and starting out AFF and solid questions. So for those guys that don't know how you got your start, tell them how you got started jumping and how you ended up being a test jumper and more with NZ Aerosports.
Yeah, so I guess a few people have heard of it around the world, but it's called the New Zealand Skydiving School. So I like to say I started back in the good old days when it was a little bit lawless. Beer night was on a Thursday, and you had to go jump off Friday because that's just what it was going to be like when you went to a drop zone. So I did the school there, and you get like a diploma, which like. Props to the guys who go in and get that and stuff like that. It's one way to do it, but I'm very fortunate in New Zealand, like the government, subsidises it. So you effectively get paid from the government to drink beer and learn to skydive for 6 months. So yay, New Zealand, how good.
That's rough.
And it's a hard life. So I started there in a little town called Methven. And then from there, at the end of the course, you do a work placement. And from my work, my work placement, I decided to go to, well, luckily I didn't decide. I got offered to go to Byron Bay in Australia, beautiful drop zone. And from there, I was hungry. Like I kind of, it's strange. I knew pretty early that I liked flying the parachute. Like even on like sub 100 jumps, I remember like burying toggles, just thinking like, this is so much fun. Not really, like obviously not knowing what I'm doing, but just really enjoying that part of the skydive. And so I went to Byron Bay. Luckily, they needed, like, I got onto, I think I was doing full-time outside camera within my first year of skydiving. Like, I was very, very, very lucky. Right place, just 100% a yes man, like, bins need emptied. I didn't care what it was. Like, I was on the drop zone and just going hard,
Sure.
Lucky, I skipped the packing, Matt, so how good. And then, packers.
And most of the graduates from that school end up on the packing mat first, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I worked with a kid named Adam Diamond that went through that school when I was jumping for ballistic blondes in Paihia, and we gave him a huge rash of shit.
Yeah. No, I was lucky. I was in a position of Byron Bay where like there was a group of people who just like one after another took a week off, and I filled in for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then the boss was like, "Hey man, we need you for full-time camera now. We're in the summer." I was like, "Sweet, how good." So. Nice. Man, much like any industry, from Byron Bay, I met a guy there, Barton Hardy. He lives in Norway now, and he was the drop zone manager at Skydive Voss in Norway. So he was like, "Man, I got a camera slot for you. Do you want to come over?" And I was like, "Fuck yes." And I remember the chief instructor at Skydive Byron Bay, Steve Edwards, was like, "If you stick around another year, then you can go and come back whenever you like," kind of thing. And I was like, "Mate, I'm going. Sorry, you can give my slot away. I'm out." And then I just went alternated between like Norway, anywhere else I could find work in the world. So did some stints in like Jordan, Mexico. Mexico was awesome. A little bit. Had got my Lodi wings, my dodgy Lodi wings. Come on, man.
How many times did you get fired?
And do you know what? Never.
Really?
Never got fired. Yep.
I didn't get fired there either, but I didn't technically work for him, and he needed my plane.
Yeah. Well, there you go. No, never got fired. He actually told me that I should stay one time instead of going back to Norway. And then the last time I saw Bill Dawes, I was trying to chase him around Manifest to give him a hug goodbye, and he was like, "No, we don't do that." And I still didn't get fired. So good. Yeah. And then so Norway was a big part of my career for sure. That's where I started. I got on the One Call team, Team One Call. So we just basically would do stunts, and I was doing the outside camera for a lot of it as well. And then from that outside camera work, by this stage I'd already picked up a couple of sponsors, which super grateful for. One of them being NZ Aerosports. And then they saw some of my stuff. I'd made some boogie tapes in the past, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to come on and do some test jumping for us?" And the main thing they wanted me there for was like content creation. And I walked in the doors my first summer there, like 6 years ago now, and they were basically like, "Hey, we're not sure it's going to be full time, but we'll try and keep you busy." And then it was flat out, and that was we started. I got there on the Sapphire 3 project. And I was a bit bigger then, a little more beef to me. And I was the biggest test jumper, which meant for a whole summer, my first summer of test jumping, like, this is going to be insane. Woo! I was jumping nothing smaller than like a 159. So I got to jump all the big Sapphires. So here I am, like, mate, I'm a test jumper. What do you jump? What was that? Nothing. Just a test jump there. Yeah. I remember when I got to go take like the 119s, the 120s and the 109s for jumps. So I was like, "Oh, it's so small. This is awesome." I'm like, wait a minute. And I've just been flying a Petra like 69 or whatever. What's going on here?
All right. Well, it's a special kind of person though that hears a job offer to be a test jumper on parachutes and goes, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm in." Because I couldn't have said no quick enough to an offer like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was still in my 20s then, so I
makes
had
a difference.
I was invincible. Yeah. Like, but no. So that worked out like awesome. So the end of that summer, I spoke to Attila, who's also been on the show. Obviously, he was like, before I left, he came up to me, and he was the one who said, "Oh, there might not be, it might just be part time for this summer." And he came up to me quite intently. He was like, "So you're coming back, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm coming back. I'd love to come back." So, awesome. And then it just, just keeps like going from there and doing more. And like my roles evolved a lot right now. If anyone's an athlete who's listening, I am the one you email. So
it's you guys.
Now. Yeah.
Dude, I get so many messages. Who do I fucking call? Who do I call? So I'm going to blast you with emails.
Yeah. No, that's fine. It's honestly like my Monday mornings are like I rock into work and I'll just check emails and try and sort out all the athletes and all their little issues. But I mean, for the most part, it's awesome. I love it.
You've had a whole lot of different hats on over the pandemic for NZ Aerosports though, because every time I message NZ about anything, it ends up getting referred to you.
Yeah. Like it's not a bad way to be, but at the same time, it's just like it's kind of like get Chris to do it, which I'm like, all right, I'll give it a go. Yeah.
For those that don't know, it just dawned on me, especially for all the people that have started listening and haven't heard your previous podcast with me, you're at the beginning of every fucking podcast I've done for almost 2 years now. If you don't know, this is the voice of the NZ Aerosports ad with the very dramatic intros.
It is. Yeah.
Very, very dramatic. The first one was super fucking cool because it was the take on train spotting. This one's super dramatic, and I hit you up, I think, a week ago saying you guys got to give me a new leader, so I'm super curious to find out what you're going to put together for us.
Oh, I was talking to Shannon the other day about it, who's Shannon, our marketing girl, and I was honestly, when you said that, I was like, mate, I said to her, I messaged her, I was like, we've got to go like a little bit more piss take again, like we've done the intense, beautiful sky, skydiving's amazing, blah blah blah. Which that was cool. That was like definitely lent into like why we make parachutes.
Sure.
But right, that's the serious stuff over. Let's just go ridiculous. So I need to come up with something, mate. If anyone's listening and has an idea, and I can make my voice go deeper, that's about all I can do. So yeah, something to suit those needs.
Oh, I'd love it. Well, and I mean, NZ Aerosports was always the perfect model for this podcast, anyway. I mean, any company where "fuck yeah" is the motto. I still, to this day, with the thousands of times that I've said that for the podcast, still get a little butterfly every time I get to say "fuck yeah." It's just cool.
It's good, man, because like even if you're not saying that out loud, like that, when you're people open like when you jump your first canopy, and you know what, it doesn't even have to be an NZA canopy. It can be any one of the other manufacturers. There's plenty of good canopies out there. But when you jump it the first time, especially when you pick your own colors and you look up and you're just like, mate, that feeling, that's what "fuck yeah" is. When people think like it's just swearing for the sake of swearing, it's not. Like, it's nice to say fuck, don't get me wrong, like it's satisfying, it's very versatile, but when that feeling of like for people who don't understand, like obviously maybe don't like that word, when you have that feeling the first time you jump your new baby, that's what we mean by it, and that's the feeling.
Well, and people that have issues with the language just haven't found themselves in a situation where it's called for. I mean, it's always called for somewhere down the line. And one of the things that I discovered, especially with the podcast and writing and such, that I've used foul language so much that now I don't need to use it, and people just hear it anyway, which is great, because I get the Facebook, hey, we can't promote this because there's all this foul language. And it finally dawned on me, everybody knows I'm the fucking pilot now, so I don't need to use it all the time. They automatically hear it. Same thing with the NZ Aerosports "fuck yeah," because you got the two stickers or the multiple stickers, right? You got the Icarus canopies, you got the NZ Aerosports "fuck yeah" side by side every time, which is awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, I can't remember where we got to there.
That's all good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I've ever asked you, was there ever any other plan besides jumping out of airplanes? Like, was there something you were going to be when you grew up, or you just decided to skip it?
No, like I did. I actually started a building apprenticeship right after high school, and I enjoy hands-on work as well. Like, I enjoy that sort of getting stuck in kind of stuff. So I think that's why, like, a lot of, like, when I was doing tandems and stuff like that, just a hard day at the drop zone, I quite enjoyed, like, and I'd rather do 15 jumps a day than 5, even if I was getting for the most part getting paid this. I just want to be busy. I like, and so I started a building apprenticeship, and just didn't work out. Like, I was having issues with the company I was trying to go do it through. It was a bit of a clusterfuck, to say the least. And then I was like, you know what? I don't even know if I want to do a regular job. I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Right.
But I kind of started realizing I didn't want to, like, go Monday to Friday to, a building site, or ironically enough, Monday to Friday to an office, which effectively is what I do now. But I do get to go and leave that office during the week to go test prototypes. So it's not quite normal.
Sure.
But I just didn't know. I knew I didn't want to do that sort of like normal job, I guess you'd call it, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just started basically Googling whatever I could and just finding courses and anything outdoors. And I almost signed up to a scuba diving instructor course in my home city.
Nice.
And then I was like, and I don't know why, I just was like, I always wanted to skydive. So I just Googled skydiving course, and that course in New Zealand, the qualification to get their qualification, like, it was a Google ad. It was the first thing, and I was like, oh, what's this? And so I basically was on the website just looking around, like looking at it for about maybe like 20, 30 minutes, and I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it.
Nice.
So just sent in the application, and I was like, no. And then
we almost lost you to blowing bubbles then, huh?
Yeah.
There's almost a lot of parallels. There's a lot of parallels.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but it's funny though. I know a couple of people who are just solely scuba divers, and I've spoken to them about skydiving, And then I'm kind of at that point now where I'm okay not to talk about skydiving, but they just were so determined to equate everything in scuba diving to like, oh, that's kind of like in scuba diving when this happens. And I was like, maybe, man, I don't know. I've never scuba dived. It's cool. We don't have to talk about this. Just have a beer and just like chill.
Well, it's funny too, because I became a scuba diver years and years after becoming a skydiver, and I'm still of the opinion that scuba diving is dramatically more dangerous.
Oh man, mate, what's going to eat you in the sky?
Yeah, there's a fuckload of stuff down there that wants to bite you, or at the very least just doesn't want you there. And the one thing we don't run out of in skydiving until it's too late is air. You get to breathe all the way to the end, one way or another.
Don't tell tandem passengers that though. They think there's nowhere up there. The old, when a tandem passenger would land and they're like, I couldn't breathe. I'm like, must have been all the oxygen up there. Ooh.
My favorite was shooting videos and you'd be in the tandem's face with them looking right in the camera screaming, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. You're fucking doing a really good job. As an instructor, I used to say, if you don't think you can breathe, scream. If you can hear yourself screaming, you're breathing.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like you said, going back to the scuba diving, the equipment's way more complicated, so much more can go like, obviously, when you look at a skydiving rig, like obviously not to belittle it, but it's obviously simple because people have worked really hard and come up with really ingenious ideas. But it's quite like when you understand the system, like except for how the magic of an AAD works,
right?
Baffles me, doesn't matter. But
right.
Like compared to scuba diving setup,
absolutely,
like a lot less can go wrong.
Well, and in a skydive, when things go wrong, 99.9% of the time, it's a matter of doing your emergency procedures and you're done deal. But if you're on a deep dive, if you're 80 feet down and your system goes to shit and for whatever reason, your regulator's not working and your buddy's gone and you can't reach your secondary or your secondary's fucked, that's it. You're done, man, and it's not going to last very long, so I figured that out in scuba diving quite quickly. I'm like, oh, I potentially am fucked here. There's no reserve.
yeah no, for sure. I've done a couple of like try dives and stuff like that, and I'm like, just even being like like 10 meters down, you look up and you're like, it seems like so far away before I've got like fresh air up.
Oh yeah, well, not to mention like a night jump, a night skydive compared to a night scuba dive. Whoo!
Yeah.
Holy shit, man! There's glowing lights down there. I know where I'm going, but I have no idea what's 2 feet off my left shoulder unless I move the flashlight over there.
Yeah, that's when a lot of things come out to play, isn't it? In the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely. So what have you been up to over the pandemic? I mean, I know we're kind of at the tail end of it and life's gotten back to normal to some degree, but how's it been for you?
Man, like honestly, I'm one of those people very good, like from the start of the pandemic. Like I met my partner, like we've gone from dating, we live together now. So like on a personal life, really, really good. On like a travel the world skydiving point, pretty shitty, like most people, but we've definitely been a little bit slower in New Zealand with like waters, like those restrictions, those final restrictions easing. But man, we're in a position now we can travel, which is cool. At work at Aerosports, good. Like initially, man, I was just getting paid to make ridiculous videos. Those I'm not sure if you ever saw the quarantine diaries or anything like that. When I was I did. Yeah. It was funny. My mate I was living with when I was making them, who's in a couple of them, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, bro, this is work. Do you want to be in it? He's like, yeah, I've got nothing else to do. I was like, sweet. Yeah, good. So that, and then, I mean, with the pandemic, I might have said this before, but basically you have to make budget cuts. And one of the first things to get shut down was the R&D department because we have products to sell. That's fine. We couldn't really spend the money on creating new products. So a lot of the stuff we were working on came to a grinding halt. But that has changed massively pretty much in the last year. The whole mindset is like, right, we're learning to live with it. The orders are coming in. We're still really busy. And the shift has been like, let's go. So, and even the last 5 months, mate, the last month, we've pumped out like 4 brand new Annas. And before that, because I don't want to talk about Anna. No, I'll talk about Anna. I'm not part of the sales team. I don't have to explain why it's not for sale. It's not for sale because it's not ready yet, guys. That's why you can't order an Anna. I'll tell you when you can. Keep watching Instagram. But that up until we made the latest batch, we realized this. The two that people might have seen, they're like Kelly Green and like a blueberry. There's an 89 and a 79 that become our children. But they those two canopies are over 2 years old, and those are the two most modern. Like the Anna project has been going so long for various reasons. Obviously, the pandemic being a major one, dragging it out. But we hadn't made brand new prototypes until like brand new Annas at least until the last 2 months, which is awesome, And man, we went from like not having made one to I think we just pumped out like 4 or 5 different sizes. Wow. So yeah, and also now we're starting to pick nicer colors. We're starting to think about things like, dare I say it, the release video. So we've got a color scheme going on, and it's just we've still got some teething issues, obviously, so that's why it's not ready. But the ones that we've got humming right now are so much fun. Like Dan Guest, if you're listening, I was jumping your 63 the other day. It was pretty not bad. So it's, and you think, and like a 63, you hear that, and that's way out of the wing loading range that we're going for. Like that's not the range that the canopy is going to be designed for. But I'm the only one who can jump a canopy that small for the company right now. So I just took it out and loaded it like 3.35 or something, and terminal. And like, this is not a sales pitch. People listening, this is not what Anna's for. But I was doing it, and it was awesome. It was awesome. But it does, like on a canopy that small, that's not designed to be loaded that high. You trade off, like it dies a little bit quicker on the rears because it doesn't carry as it's a 7 cell, it's not Petra, so it's not going to glide quite as far.
Sure.
I was jumping a 69 as well, and you just could notice, that those few extra feet, that extra 6 feet square footage, it does make a difference. So definitely sweeping the 69 further, but awesome fun to jump something that small that we've been having a lot of issues with Anna, just trying to iron them out, and it's just some days it feels like 2 steps forward, 3 back, and
sure,
it's going on. But it was so satisfying to be like, this thing opens, awesome.
It had to be.
Yeah. We've got to get there eventually. So surely, if we have enough shitty like openings, one of them's got to start going right.
Sure, so, yeah. Now, speaking of small canopies, this is actually quite a while back now, though. But you guys sent Luigi. You sent him a fucking parachute in a business envelope.
yeah. So the very first one we sent him, that was a JVX. What was that size? Like a 37 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and we sent them that, and that was well before my time, and they folded it up and put it in a line set bag. Yeah. And then Ernesto obviously did his, and I think we folded that one up tiny as well. And then the most recent one, Luigi did. Man, props to Luigi. Like, I know he's a little dude and all, but he just jumped that thing. It was a Slayer, was what we made for him. A Slayer, what was it, the 34? I
think so, yeah.
Slayer 34. And it was like, he just jumped it out of the plane like a regular rig. He wasn't even like D-bag assisted,
right.
Out of a chopper of all things. And I was just like, yeah. And he, obviously they've got things to do, like in terms of when they release the footage and stuff. But when we got some footage of it, he was like, oh, that was the 4th time I'd landed it. So he's just jumping it like his everyday wing. There's like we talk about something like a 63, mate. That's massive.
Yeah.
When you think about like these tiny little canopies, but he crushed it, and he was a man. And the funny thing about that as well is Ernesto still has the world record, because Ernesto got it done by Guinness World Records. Luigi was, I think he was just doing it for Audi or something.
Yeah,
whatever. He's like a superstar over there. He doesn't give a shit.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I was around for when Ernesto did his. I flew when he was on the slightly bigger canopy. I was flying for him, and then he switched to, I think, the Porter, because he needed something to go proper slow when he did that jump. And people talked about the size of the canopy or the wing loading not being that dissimilar to the camera guy that was shooting it, but that was Junior who was shooting with Ernesto, but he had a huge weight belt on and all this stuff, and they tried to explain the differences. It's not just you don't just make it smaller, and the flight characteristics regardless of the wing loading, now that flies completely different. I mean, the twitchiest little thing I've ever seen, and you would watch literally as he was just barely shifting in the harness, and the canopy is just wanting to buck, and holy shit.
Yeah, for sure. It's not the same. Like Junior's the man.
Yeah.
But obviously he would say the same thing. It's not the same as jumping a small canopy.
No.
Like, it was like when I first started, I was a bit heavier than one of my mates. He got on eventually he got onto a 120 and I was on a 135. We were loaded the same. But I remember my AF instructor being like, it's not the same. Like my coach or whatever. And he was like, yeah, it's not the same because you've got more fabric up there. It's a whole, it's loaded high for sure. But mate, you've got half the material above you. Like, even if you had the same loading, when shit goes wrong on something that small, it's right. You don't even, it's wrong and it's too late.
Well, 0 to light speed, man, and just like that.
Yeah.
I remember thinking the very first thing that I thought when I saw Luigi's canopy was that doesn't look like it's any bigger than the kites people fly.
Do you know what? I think it was probably smaller than like.
How insane is
like
that?
A few other kites? Yeah, that's mental. The thing that I thought was crazy as well was like, just you look at it from a canopy piloting sort of perspective. When you jump those, like when a lot of people jump Petra for the first time, it's like this rock and roll. So when people are bringing in the RDS, they're like, starts diving. He's like just there casually, just like putting it away, and it's just like,
yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It speaks volumes to his skill level, and not to big up the company, but I think it speaks volumes to also that product that was used, and
absolutely,
and, the team that went into building it. So I mean, I think I got a photo with it before it left the factory. Like, yeah, we did this. I was like, I did nothing. I took it to the park, kited it, and then I took photos of people kiting it. I was like, that was my contribution. Created a little bit of content. I filmed some footage of it getting done, but yeah, it was. It's insane though when you really try and people see that footage and they're like, hey, jump to 34, whatever. It's like when you really think about it, think about what you started on. Think about the smallest canopy I'll ever jump is probably I maybe jump like a 59 maybe one day.
Sure.
But like I've got a new Petra 64 that I'm taking to the Worlds. I don't really see any need to go smaller than that in terms of my own canopy. So, and then that 34, like it's half the size, like that's I look at a 64 above me and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Sure. So with the Worlds, you're going to compete. Do you have a goal in mind, or is it just to get there and enjoy the event?
I've been going back and forth. I guess it's gonna. I'll see how I go. I'm gonna do a couple of little training camps before I leave New Zealand, and then I have like a solid week in Eloy before the comp starts.
Nice.
So, mate, there's probably some swoopers listening going, that's not a lot of time. And I'm like, I know it's not a lot of time, but you work with what you got. So I'm going to see. I'm going to judge it by how the training camp goes at the end of the month here, end of September, mid-September. But there's a lot of young guys and new swoopers in Auckland as well. A lot of the staff out at Skydive Auckland. So I find it hard sometimes just to focus on myself. We've run the nationals here a couple of times, and I've just been, the last ones we did, and they're very grassroots. It's not like we don't have any FAI judges, but we follow all the FAI rules and that sort of stuff. But yeah, man, it was so cool. The last one we did, I was like, man, I'm just staying on the ground. I don't need to,
sure,
jump in this competition. I'd rather just be on the ground, help you guys out, and it was awesome. So I've actually said to them for these training camps in September, I'm like, I'll let you guys know, and I'm not going to be able to film you, but I'll watch all your landings and give advice and stuff. And it helps me too, because swooping is a solo sport. You jump out on your own, but it's nice having that, your mates on the ground, a team that you can talk shit with, someone who's like, man, that was a nice run. Or that person who says, man, you missed those gates. Fuck off, I didn't. No, you did. Oh. now you hate them just for them telling the truth.
Sure. Well, I've said it a million times on the podcast. The camaraderie in swooping seems to be more than anywhere else in the sport, and it's a sport with a lot of camaraderie already. But to see the swoopers out there rooting each other on when you're head-to-head competing is still fucking awesome.
Oh man, yeah. And I'm going to weigh up the odds. I'll probably set my goals closer to the time once I get a bit more time on the pond here in New Zealand. But obviously, look, man, you hit the nail on the head. I can't wait to see, I've got some really good buddies. well, I guess now we're becoming the old guard. I don't know. It's swooping. I'm going to turn up there. There's going to be a bunch of new dudes, and I'm just like, and some of them are like absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
Like I've been watching the results, and I'm like, never heard of this kid, and he is smashing it. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to like, even if I go there and I try to do well, I always going to try and do well. But even if I flop, get some donuts, as long as I have a good time, hang out with my buddies, like, I mean, what more can you ask for? At the end of the day, we're just skydiving, we're not saving the world. So,
sure. Well, but I've seen the difference between the mentality and the training regimen for someone that's just going to do the best that they can and someone that is bound to determine for the podium. And there's a switch there, I mean, it's
right, for sure.
It's a whole different thing. I mean, like Nick takes it to the next level as far as dedication goes. When that boy says he's going to compete, get the fuck out of the way. He's going to compete.
Yeah. And I think Kurt's the same as well. Cornelia, obviously, Cedric, man, all the French people. I remember talking to Cedric one year. I think I'd done pretty well. I like finished fifth at the competition, and he was like, "If you're not doing at least 500 hop and pops a year, man, there's no point. Like, you're not going to be making any podiums." And I was like, "Man, I did about 50 this year." I was like, I think from the last few years before COVID, I was one of those guys who just like rocked out. And I did train, don't get me wrong, and I tried, and I mean, I'm competitive, so like I put on a smile and I have a laugh, but inside I'm like, fucker, I'm going to push hard here.
Sure.
But I think I just came across as someone who turned up to comps and cruised and just like was placing top tens or like, getting a medal at nationals or whatever, people's nationals, just like, what's going on here? But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to hanging out with all my mates again and seeing everyone, and just looking forward to pushing hard on a pond. Like
nice,
get a little bit back into it. So
nice, back to the roots, so to speak.
Hey, back to the reason why, like, I traveled the world and spent all of my money on it. So
right, yeah.
Same reason why all of us did it. It might not have been like canopy piloting or swooping or flying small canopies, but then it might have been like chasing the tunnels and chasing boogies. So
sure.
Whatever drives us.
For any of us that are lifers in the sport, whether it's a fun jumper or working in the sport, everybody's got that one thing that just was the hook. I mean, obviously the community is primary for pretty much everybody, but there's one part of the sport that just grabbed them, which it's always nice to get back to that if you step back for a while.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, and I think it's like what we were saying before the podcast, like, hey, you've been flying for so long, you're happy to step back now. But and I think over COVID, I've been going so hard for quite a few years, just like nonstop travel, as many comps as I could, kind of thing, just throwing all my money at it. So when COVID hit, I was kind of like being forced into a break. I was like, I'm kind of okay with it, like. Oh yeah. And then those the last couple of years, for sure, I've just been like, all right, yeah, I'm over this break now. I want to get back out there and go hard. So. But it's nice, man, for anyone to appreciate something they have.
So. Nice. Any other things coming your way? Any other special stuff with NZ Aerosports we should tell everybody about?
What have we got coming up? No, we're just gonna keep watching our social media. We'll keep teasing everyone who wants an Anna. Don't worry, it's never coming, but we're gonna keep jumping it.
Nice.
We've got a couple of things in the works. We've got there is a plan for any industry people listening to crank onto a tandem. I was actually, when we were talking about going head low, we have a system, because obviously if we jump a prototype with a tandem prototype, then we can't be taking live customers, or we take another testy on the front. So we have this big fucking sandbag. It's like 52, 55 kg or something like that. That was a nightmare. I was lugging it to the plane, but you know what? Like, league day, it was all good. And that thing, because it's a bag, it has no arms. So when you were talking about the head low thing, the trap door, I was like, my God, that's exactly that system every time. So you just go look at the ground a little bit more, and it's just the way the system's set up. But so we've got maybe some tandem stuff. Like, we've always been planning to do that, but now that we're finally ramping up, that's going. We've been just doing some tweaks to the student canopies. Not exciting for people, but good for people getting into the sport, because student canopies, mate, they don't need to be bags of dicks that don't flare. They can be nice opening,
sure,
within reason, well performing canopies. So a little bit of that, and then I guess the one that everyone wants to know about is, like, is there going to be something between the Crossfire the JFX, and I hope so. Anyone listening, I agree. I hope so. It's going to be a fun project when we kick that off. But yeah, just a couple of things. There's a lot of R&D that people wouldn't even think about, but like lines, we've actually got a manufacturer in New Zealand who we're working really hard now with to build our lines for us. It's going to be made in New Zealand, and we've had some really promising results. And there's a couple of people actually out in Dubai who are jumping them for us, and yeah, some promising stuff. So there's little bits of like R&D that's just ongoing, that behind the doors, but ultimately improves the products. So it's good. It's all good stuff for sure. And then, mate, bring on summer in New Zealand.
Nice.
Cold beers, long days.
Yeah, it's coming, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
So, how do people follow? Well, first off, tell us about NZ Aerosports. Where do they go to find out about all the equipment that you've got? Where do they go to find out about these little things, R&D, and all about the company? So, how do they find out about NZ Aerosports? And then, how do they follow you and what you got coming up with Worlds and everything?
Yeah, nice. So, our website, obviously, nzaerosports.com. You can go there, Matt. If anyone's bored, you can go play on our colour picker for the canopy of your choice. Best colour picker around, I say, but I'm biased. And then for Instagram, it's Icarus Canopies by NZ Aerosports. It's a bit of a mouthful, but if you just search for NZ Aerosports, you'll see us, and that's where we do all of our updates. And then myself is chris.j.stewart. That's my Instagram handle. But I'm going to the Worlds, I'm actually going to be competing, but I'm going to be sticking around for a little bit afterwards and running the social media. So over it's going to be pretty much from like the 5th of October to like the 20th, 21st-ish. 24th. I'll be doing Instagram stuff, talking to our athletes, trying to keep people updated. So if you're curious to see what a world meet looks like and training looks like, or the lack of training for some of us, just follow us on Instagram.
Nice. Yeah. And that just gave me a great idea. I'm going to have to hit you up to grab a few rock stars while you're at the Worlds, take them to a quiet place and take the hot seat and take them for a ride on the podcast.
Absolutely.
That'd be fantastic, man.
Yeah.
You'd be my remote reporter.
Yeah. Well, we can definitely sort that out. I'm sure, mate, I'll have the company card. I'll be like, hey, come with me for a minute. You get a few beers out of Aerosports.
That's it.
We'll just throw them in the hot seat.
That's it, man. Yeah, no, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Well, Chris,
Wicked.
As always, fantastic catching up with you. I'm definitely going to want to talk to you again after Worlds, find out about your experience, especially if we get you talking to a few people, and look forward to what you got coming next, especially what kind of new leader for the podcast you're going to come up with now that we know it's not going to be serious.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, anyone listening, if you've got any ideas, message them in. I spent a bit of time online the other day just going great intros to movies and stuff like that. I'm like, you can rip off one of these for sure. We've just got to pick the right one.
Oh, we got to find some way to work Pulp Fiction into it.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
There's got to be something in Pulp Fiction that we can side by side.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. But no, thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
All right. Sure. Perfect, man. Cheers. We'll see you.
Beautiful. See ya.
And there you have it. Another episode of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, brought to you as always by, and say it with me, fuck yeah, NZ Aerosports. Head to nzaerosports.com. By Pussfoot. That's right. Head to pussfoot.com, the extreme sports collective, and check out everything they've got to offer. By summitparachutesystems.com. Jarrett Martin and the family cranking out amazing pilot rigs, as well as incredible rigging courses. And now joining the Lunatic team, it's the one and only Tony Suits. You know him, you love him. Head to tonysuit.com. Check out all the amazing standards, as well as the new incredible signature line they've got going on. And as for us, the Lunatic Fringe is now on YouTube. That's right, you're going to have the chance to put faces to the audio by heading to youtube.com and looking up the Lunatic Fringe podcast. It's easy. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out all the amazing videos from the previous guests that we've had, as well as new and upcoming interviews on video. As always, I am the fucking pilot. Head to thefuckingpilot.net or theprincesspilot.com. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time around.